Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show off what I'm going to bring into trials for the Edge of Fate thing that's going to be coming out tomorrow, and then I guess for every weekend beyond then. So we're going to start. Obviously, I think Invis is going to be the best subclass even still, just because Void at base has, the craziest fragments. Spectral Blades, such a nice super. Obviously, Smoke Bomb, really crazy, and the aspects are really great, obviously, with Vanishing Step and On the Prowl. So Gambler's Dodge we're going to use just so we can get our melee back whenever we dodge. Smoke Bomb, because it's just a crazy, and we don't really have any other options, but Smoke Bomb is such a crazy melee. Scatter Grenade, just a solid grenade to, do some cleanup damage. Then Vanishing Step to go invisible, and then On the Prowl for more fragment slots, as well as, getting spawning smoke bombs on the marked targets very strong. Echo of Vigilance, so we can get overshields whenever you kill people when we're low health. Very clutch in those like 1v3 or 1v2 situations. Dilation, not only so we can get a better radar, but also we can get more super stat as well as weapon stat. Pretty great fragment there. Expulsion, really just for the super stat, but sometimes the additional explosion kills or explosion damage from your abilities do come up clutch for a little extra chunk of damage, so not a bad fragment. Obscurity, really just for the additional class stat. You can't really get finisher PvP or finisher kills in PvP, so really just for the class stat. And then Leeching for the bonus 10 health, and then whenever we get a kill with our melee ability, the Smoke Bomb or just a regular melee, just starting our health regen is very clutch. Our exotic of choice is going to be the Dragon Shadow, so our weapons have better ready speed, and they also have a nice chunk of extra stability, so our Graviton Spike and our Deadlock here are going to have more stability, as well as they're going to swap a little bit quicker. And then whenever we dodge, we're going to get a nice little bonus effect. If we go into our stats here, I opted for around 100 class ability. I think 100 is a sweet spot because that's where you get the maximum bonus for your dodge cooldown. And every point after 100, you just get some additional overshield health whenever you dodge. I don't think the overshield is that important, so I opted for just 100, as close to 100 as I could get, so I get the the max dodge cooldown increase. So that way I get my dodge up as much as possible. Tying to my dodge stat, I also have 70 melee, because whenever you have 70 melee, and you pair it with Gambler's Dodge, whenever you dodge near an enemy, you get your full melee back. And in this case, it's a Smoke Bomb, which is really, really strong. So having 70 melee lets us get a full Smoke Bomb refund whenever we dodge near somebody. And because our dodge comes back really often, we can also get lots of Smoke Bombs. Now in PvP, I think 100 super is the sweet spot, because more than 100 super only really buffs your super damage, so not very important in terms of getting your super faster. But having like less than 100, even like 80 or less, it feels very, very difficult to get your super. And especially in those trials matches where getting your super can be the difference between losing and winning, I think having 100 super stat is just the perfect amount for winning games. This really depends on your loadout. I think if you're going to use something like maybe the 390 Kepler Pulse, the last Thursday with Elemental Honing, you're going for like a 2-burst pulse rifle build. Going all into weapons after this would be really important, because then you'd be able to 2-burst with your pulse rifle, or you're 3-tapping with your 180 hand cannon. So the weapon stat is really important depending on your loadout choice. For me personally, it's not that important because I am using Graviton Spike and like a Deadlock, so I don't really have much in my weapon stat here. It's kind of just what's left over. And what I really put the rest of my stat points into was health, because if you don't have a high health stat investment, your health comes back super slow. And you also get a nice little chunk of flinch resist. So taking duels with high health stat is a little bit easier since you take less flinch. And as well as clutching against multiple players is a lot easier because your health comes back faster. So after I got my super class and my 70 melee, I put the rest into health stats. So if I'm in a clutch scenario where I'm against multiple players, I can get my health back a little bit faster. Now, obviously, my armor isn't the greatest. I do have a couple of like tier 4 pieces from getting my light up, but obviously light doesn't matter in trials. So I haven't gotten the craziest stat distributions on the new armor that I would like. So this will only get better and better. But ideally, I guess I'd have, like close that 200 health stats so my shields can come back even faster. But we're kind of stuck with 130 right now, which isn't the worst. Now, if we come to weapons, Graviton Spike is probably the best. PvP Handkin unless you're using, you know, like a Sightline Survey or something with like crazy weapon set where you're 3-tapping with a 180. But I think in general, Graviton Spike is really nice because again, you don't need like crazy high weapon stat investment for this thing to be really good. You get a couple taps with your arc shots, and you can switch to the Stasis Overcharge and 2-tap people, spawn the Stasis Crystals. You know, obviously a crazy weapon. And then as well, in the arc mode, you have a base RPM of 150, so you can 3-tap people faster than most other people can. You know, with like a Hawk Moon or like a Thorn or a Rose or something. So this thing can just out TTK all of like the 140 hand cannons. So, and very, very easy to get. The quest is not too bad. And then if you pair it again with Dragon Shadow, it gets a lot of extra stability, more handling, makes this thing feel very, very good. In this kinetic slot, I would definitely, I'm going to use this Deadlock, and I would definitely try to stay away from snipers if you're like a newer player. Snipers with a newer ammo system is a lot harder to take advantage of because you don't get nearly as much ammo. And when you do end up getting some ammo, you have to go run over and pick it up anyway. So ideally, you'd want a special weapon where you can get like lots of value from just by having the ammo rather than, you know, trying to spend it immediately like with the sniper. Obviously, with like a sniper, your main threat is being able to one-shot people from like a far distance. But if you have something like a shotgun, you're always going to be a threat even if you're not using the shotgun itself, because if someone pushes you close, they obviously know that you have a shotgun, and this is kind of more of like a defensive option. A lot easier too to stack ammo with a shotgun and like a fusion rifle than like a sniper, because again, you're not really just like wasting your ammo willy-nilly going for like the one-shot kills. So I think in today's day and age of trials, you're going to see a lot of slugs, you're going to see a lot of fusions, you're going to see a lot of pellet shotguns. You're not going to see a lot of snipers because again, the ammo is really hard to take advantage of with how little ammo you get. Heavy weapon doesn't really matter too much. I guess if you're going to get a heavy weapon, I would either recommend like a 3-burst linear like this Doom Petitioner here with that crazy aim assist, or I'd go something like a rocket launcher. Truth is obviously very good because I don't know if the bug is still here or not where it buffs your grenade damage, but even without that, Truth is really good with its grenades and horseshoes where it has that proximity detonation. It gets 2 rockets, got a ton of blast radius. But now that they did make a change, every legendary rocket gets 2 rockets. So if you got a good legendary rocket and your exotic slot is taken up, a legendary rocket will definitely get the job done. I'm probably going to go with my Doom Petitioner here, but again, a rocket launcher is not a horrible choice. If you've got a great machine gun too, that'll get the job done. Obviously, heavy weapon is more of a personal preference. It's not like the biggest deal, but this is probably going to build I'm going to be taking into trials to do like my carries, you know, we try my ass off and stuff. So that's really gonna be it. We'll hop into a quick play game, just kind of show it off, and that's really gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right, so we got our nice little match on Burnout here. And Graviton Spike is such an amazing handcan. I haven't had too much playtime with it myself. The one thing I found that's harder to get used to with this weapon is the high zoom it has. This handcan has 16 zoom, where most handcans only have 14, so up close, I definitely feel like it's like harder to hit my shots, because again, you have like the less FOV. But that's just gonna have to be something where I just get used to rather than I kind of just put the weapon down for. As well as the RPM, it's harder to get like a nice clean shot right there, at least for me with this weapon, because I don't have as much practice with 150s ever since they took them out, so definitely a little bit more difficult these days. But this weapon is obviously worth practicing for. As you can see, with the Stasis Overcharge shot, you do so much damage. I still have 3-tap there. We get our Stasis Overcharge again. And that's really going to be the scary thing in Trials. You're going to be seeing this weapon a lot because you can generate the 2-tap so easily. Oh, bad aim from here. We do clutch it out. We do get Arc Overcharge as well. The Arc Overcharge is nothing to sneeze at either, because, you know, you can 2-head one body, and that extra Arc Bolt Strike basically that comes down is like a crazy amount of flinch that would happen. So it's very easy with this weapon to loop like the amount of overcharge you get for the overcharge versions of this weapon. So this weapon is like in a constant state of being buffed more than it is. So when we go over Stasis, then to Arc Overcharge, from Arc Overcharge to Stasis Overcharge. Very, very crazy weapon here. This is definitely, I think, going to be a weapon people are going to be complaining about a lot in Trials, because to get the overcharge, you don't even need to get a kill. You just need to hit like a couple like precision hits. So there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be, you know, shooting people a couple times. They get the overcharge, they run away, get their health back, and then they kind of peek you, and then they just two-tap you with the overcharge. This is going to be a very, very annoying weapon to go against in some like Trials where you like your life matters so much, and getting like two-tapped out of nowhere with the overcharge is going to be very, very upsetting for a lot of people. I don't blame them. I think you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to see the Kevlar Pulse, and you're going to see the like, Sightline Survey. I think those are my top 3 weapons that you're going to be seeing in Trials this coming Trials Day. I guess at the time of recording this, or at the time of upload, Trials already be out. Or actually, no. This will come out on Thursday. But again, that's my prediction. Is you're going to see this 180s and the Kevlar Pulse as the main 3 weapons that are going to be dominating Trials. And I'm not quite sure if a lot of these are going to be getting changes. I'm assuming once Bungie sees like the Trials like stats and like weapon usage and such, they're going to like make some changes to these weapons. But again, like we cannot be completely certain. I'm sure they want like stuff like Graviton Spike and the Kevlar Pulse to be really insane, because you know those are like the new like expansion weapons, so they obviously want like the new weapons to be pretty good, so they're not gonna want, you know, them to not be viable. I'll also put some more practice with the Graviton again. I feel like my shot isn't like super crispy with this thing yet, because I gotta get used to the zoom and the you know, the switching RPMs. Like having like it's not like a 120 RPM on the stage. I believe it's a 100 RPM. So I gotta get used to the way this weapon shoots. It's a very unique weapon, which is very cool. I am happy Bungie, you know, gave us like a new, like unique feeling weapon, but it's gonna take some time to get used to. It does feel very nice. Again, the aim assist on this thing is pretty ridiculous. I would definitely recommend having one of each targeting, or one stasis and one arc targeting on this weapon, because again, when you're switching back from the fire modes as constantly as you are with this weapon, you're going to want the weapon to be as good as it possibly can. So at least in the case of my build, I have one of each targeting, one of each dexterity, one of each unflinching. So again, that's another reason why Deadlock is such a great pairing for this weapon, because it is a stasis weapon. So the mods that would go towards helping the stasis version of Graviton Spike would also help your Deadlock as well. So I think it's just like a perfect pairing. You can just kind of hold. Again, the overcharge timer lasts a long time too. Like it's very, very easy to take advantage of the extra damage as well as the stasis crystals that this thing spawns. As you can see here, I have tons of shotgun ammo because, again, I haven't had to use my shotgun very much, so having a special weapon that you don't have to use very much and more of like it's more of a defensive option will help lead you to more success, and not like you don't feel like you're running out of special ammo all the time. But we're doing not too bad this match. Let's hope our Spectral Blades here. Let's see if we can deal with that guy. Perfect. You can chase this guy down as well. Let's go back invisible so we can get some wall hacks. Deal with that guy as well. Let's run away. Perfect. Nice little mercy. Maybe we'll go one more match in as well. Not a bad match. Not a bad match. 353. I don't know if that's quite... That's not quite as high as my highest power. But again, light level doesn't matter too much in Trials, so we'll take that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my Trials build that I'm bringing into, obviously, Trials of Osiris when it comes out. But we'll see how the meta unfolds. I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty solid option. But again, we'll have to see when we actually play. Maybe people will find some more, like, crazy builds that would be, you know, even a little bit better than this. But thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.